So let's get started then. Hello, all. Good morning, good afternoon, and this is episode number 26 of How to Manage Devices Community Free Intune Training. So, thank you all for joining in. And today we are continuing to discuss about Windows 10 CSPs and how to deploy custom CSP policies or custom OMA-DM policies or OMA-URI policies, right, through Intune. On Friday, we have seen how to disable kind of UX, right, using the CSP policy. We disabled the UX of for check for updates, right? So we disabled this using the CSP policy, Windows 10 CSP policy. We created a custom policy in Intune and we used OMA-URI and disabled it, right? So today we will see further on that and probably we will try to disable this option, right? Pause, right? How to disable pause. Okay. So Okay, so before that, right, let's go to the structure of the policy and understand it. I don't know how many of you understand the structure of the policy, right? So the first policy was out of box policy, this one, right? Uninstall feature updates. And if I go down, this is the policy, the URI structure of that policy, right? OMA URI structure, right? Vendor MSFT and then updates, right? And under updates our rollback was over here, that was added with 1803, right? So rollback you could see like quality updates, feature updates, quality update status. So these are for reporting purposes, right? Status is always for reporting purposes, I feel, right? Okay, so that was the uninstall feature update, right? That was one path, URI path. This was a different path, right? For disabling UX, this was different path. Vendor MSFT is same, policy that is different, right? Policy here it is policy, and here it is updates, right? So policy path is different, and then it comes to configuration over here, right? So at the same level, this is third level, right? So if you go down into this, the third level, or I think third level, yeah, third level over here is rollback, right? So how to understand this, right? So I don't know how many of you noticed on Friday, I used I used something different over here, right? If I go over here, right, and edit the policy, which I used device, right? I don't know, nobody noticed it, or I don't know, like nobody asked me why I used device, right, rather than this structure, right? This is the structure as per the documentation, right? So I should start from vendor MSFT. Why did I use device over here, right? So nobody asked, probably nobody had looked into it or confused or something. So this is the example, perfect example or explanation for that, right? Over here it says if it's device scope, if the policy should go to all the users in the device and it should be in the device scope, then you can add this one, right? Device into URI, right? OMA URI, okay? And it also says, right, you can also use vendor MSFT if you want, if it's a device configuration, right? So that either of this can be used, right? So for me, there is a cheat code over here, right? When I say cheat code, so this is the normal GitHub page where I can get all these policy device configuration related OMA-URI full path, right? So for example, when I say full path, when I search with UX, right, you can see over here it mentioned something like this: enter your OMA URI, you will get it over here, right? So this is again Microsoft GitHub. So this is not a community one. This is GitHub repository by Microsoft. So Windows device management repository, right? Over there you will get an XML. So I think I already provided this URL in the description of last video, right? The episode recording of last video, right? So that was 25th episode, right? So if, for example, if I want to disable pause, right, then normally what I do is I copy this, right? So this is the cheat code, right? And I use this URI in the portal. Okay. So so that is why you can see like the vendor MSFT, you don't see device or user over here, right, in this part. Okay, but that is kind of optional. You can add, sometimes you need to do some R&D, probably sometimes these URIs might not work, then you need to try to remove user and try to put device, right? And if the device is not working, then probably you need to put vendor, right? You need to use vendor itself. So you need to do some kind of R&D with this, or some kind of studying with this uh, before using it in a policy, right? Probably you need to deploy it to some test missions first and check whether the policy is getting deployed correctly or not, right? Then you can use it for the other purposes, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and create another policy for disabling the pause option, right? So I'm here in devices and configuration profile. So we are creating a custom configuration profile for my Windows 10 devices, right? So I clicked on create profile, and then I need to select the platform, and the platform is Windows 10 obviously, and then click create. Then I need to provide name UX, disable UX for post, right? Post updates. Okay, so I'm going to put this over here. I think I'm missing a dot. Okay, next. And I'm adding the configuration item over here, and I will say like, okay, update. This is update post UX, right? And disable post. Always remember to put appropriate name over here, right? So I'm going to use that post option, right? So this is the one, right? This is the same one over here, right? Probably you can copy this and you can check over here, right, whether it's there. Yeah, it's there, right? So you remember, like, over here there's no dot, right? I think there is a dot, or I don't know exactly, but I can't see this now, right? Let me try to. Yeah, it's a dot. Okay. So there's a dot over here. Okay. So I was confused whether it is colon or dot, right? So it is dot, right? So I'm using the same one. Okay. And integer data type, right? We discussed about this on Friday. Data type, I think somewhere, I don't know exactly where we discussed that. Let me check UX, right? If you check the UX, this was the data type for Pause. No, this is not for the pause. Pause was above, I think. Above one. Let me search with pause, right? Pause. Feature update UX. There's no UX for pause. Interesting. Let me check that UX disable pause. Okay. So over here, you will see like value value type is integer, right? And the default value is 0. That is enabled, right? 0 is enabled. Then if we want to disable it, we need to use 1, right? The same thing. So the data type is integer, right? Then I need to add the value. Value is 1, right? To disable the pause, right? And click next. Scope, if you want, you can add. I'm going to skip that. This is the assignment, right? So you can deploy to all the devices or all the users, right? Or both. But over here, I'm going to use my device group, that is HTMD Windows devices, right? It is going to get deployed to all the Windows devices. So if you want to deploy only to the corporate owned devices, then you can do that, right? But I am going to use this over here. Okay. And applicability rules, I'm going to skip that now. Okay. And let's review it, right? Everything is okay or not, right? So I'm going to deploy it. Let me confirm this. Okay. Create. I'm going to create it, and after refreshing, it will come back. So let's go to device now. This one. Okay. This is the device, Windows 10 device, and see what is happening over here. So we just our best friend to check whether the policies are getting applied. Event logs, right? It's not normal log files. It's taking time. Okay. Microsoft Windows. Then if I go down to device management and admin, right? Let's see what is happening over here. Come on, let me. Okay. Okay, so devices 8:13. Okay, that's correct time. So 8:13 DM 222. It got updated automatically. Okay, that's good. But not much policies, right? User session started, current domain join. Okay, so this is something. OMA-DM started enrollment. Server version, client version. Okay, that's good. And nothing much I can see. Give me a sec. Let me check whether. Oh, the policy got disabled. That's interesting. The pause. Sorry, the pause got disabled. Interesting. Okay, so probably 8:13. Let me refresh and see is there any other one. Okay, so a lot of other event logs appearing here. Let me check whether there is anything related to what is that? Set policy disabled. Okay. So this is the one, right? So set policy disable UX access, right? So this policy came here without any refresh or without any sync, right? So it automatically came. I'm sure this will be that fake one. Okay, yeah, that's a fake one. Okay. Okay, so that got deployed, right? So our configuration is working, right? So let's check back and see the update is here or not. Yeah, it got deployed immediately to all my machines, right? All four devices which is enrolled to which are enrolled to Intune in my lab. Okay, so that's cool. Now what we are going to see, okay, so for example, now I'm going to break one of this policy, right? So what I'm going to do is pause. Sorry, this one, right? Windows Update, disable UX option for Windows Update, right? I'm going to enable this, right? So I'm going to break this policy. Let's see how to do that, right? Okay. So create a policy. So for example, if you want to enable the enable the option, right? What do you need to do? Ideally, you need to remove the deployment of this policy. Then probably you need to move that this assignment, right? This assignment group, you need to remove this, and then you need to create a new policy to enable it, right? So I'm going to do without removing the assignment. Then it will automatically kind of break the policy, and let's see, right? So this is kind of a method, or this is kind of a better way to understand the conflict mechanism in Intune world or Windows 10 MDM world, right? How if you deploy two policies with different values, how it will how the conflict will occur, right? So I'm going to show you that, right? So when the same thing again, same enable UX for Windows Update, right? So let's see. This is the same. This is the same URI, which OMA-URI, which we want to use for enabling also, right? We use the same for disabling. Let's use the same for enabling with a different value, right? Enabling, we will use 0. For disabling, we used 1, right? So let's say enable, right? Enable, let's say enable. So you can put any value over here, right? No issues. Enable UX for Windows Update. Okay, and the URI, OMA URI is same. So you can see over here also, right? If you search in that cheat file or XML, you can see this one, right? Okay. So just to confirm, we are putting the correct URI or not, and we'll see integer, and the value would be 0, right? Because I want to enable it. Okay, then I will say yes. Next, scope is fine. I will deploy this. Next, I will deploy this to the same group of devices. If I can click on that, HTMD Windows, right? Windows, select, and next, create. This is straightforward. Okay, so got created. Immediately now it should go to the devices, right? Let's check this device. Okay, so what is happening over here? Let's go to event logs, and without refresh, this event logs are not live, right? You need to refresh every time. Okay, so let's refresh, and nothing came here, right? Nothing much over here. What is happening? Okay, let's do a refresh again. Nothing happening. Okay, probably that is we need to sync. Then it means, right, nothing is happening. Okay, so let's go to another one. Okay, another VM over here. So this is the other one. As you already joined one, let's refresh. Okay, so this is This is yesterday, I think, right? No, today, 25th. Yeah, this is today. Okay. Nothing much change over here I can see, because now it's 8:20 and nothing getting changed over here. Let's do a sync, right? And let's go to console portal and see what is happening, right? Nothing changed. Okay, so let's go to the disable update and see what is there. It's still same, succeeded, right? Okay, so let's go back to enable and let's check did I deploy to the correct group or not. Yeah, it's HTMD Windows devices, that's correct group. Okay, so let's go back here after the sync, and probably the sync finished now. No, it's still going on. Okay, interesting, still going on. Now let's see what is happening here, right? Let's refresh before we sync. Okay, so we didn't sync on this mission, right? We have not synced this, right? I'm just opening it never synced, right? Just to confirm. So 8:20, there's some error. What is this? Fake policy. Okay, that's fine. Command line to configuration source, enrollment name, provider replace. Okay, ADMX install. This is that fake policy, right? That's fine. Let me check whether there's something happened over here or not. 8:20, 8:20. What is this? Enrollment. Nothing here, I think. Okay, nothing. This one is fake policy. Okay, that's fine. Nothing much, right? So nothing happened over here, right? I didn't sync this. Let me go back to the mission where I synced, right? So sync completed now over this on this, and click on refresh, right? And this is another fake one. Okay, that's fine. Nothing much coming over here, right? I don't see any error or any conflict over here. So let's go back to the enable UX policy, right? So this is not getting deployed, right? So let's see what is happening. Okay, here it comes, right? So this is which mission? Let me check one over here and understand which is this mission, right? TMD host name Intune 04. This is the mission over here, Intune 04. Okay, so it says there is a, oh come on, I went to this mission and device configuration, right? And you can see a conflict over here, right? So there are different states for the configuration policies, right? Error state is basically it's not getting applied, right? For example, if you see the error, you can see like, oh, uninstalled feature update. Oh, there is an error. What is the error? Sync XML, right? So all these OMA-URI, OMA-DM works on XML, right? As I mentioned on previous videos, right, or previous episodes. Okay, so that is error. That's fine. We know like that is not working. Uninstall feature updates. So we are okay with that. Now we need to try to do conflict. Now there are two conflicts, right? One is enable, and the enable one, as I mentioned, it it has broken the other one also, right? The disable UX Windows update, that is also showing conflict now. It was successful before, right? Okay, so what is the reason for conflict, right? Let's click on that and understand what is happening over here. Say setting, this setting is creating a conflict, right? Which configuration profiles. So these are the two configuration profiles creating conflict issues, right? So this is the settings causing the conflict. Now, do you think Intune will automatically fix this? No, Intune won't automatically fix it. So we need to fix it from ourselves, right? Okay, so how to fix it? So basically, you need to remove one of the policy, all right, and you need to remove the assignment as I mentioned to fix this. Okay, so that is the only way to fix it. So if I go back to enable or disable Windows updates, right over here. So in some time, this will change to error, right, or conflict, right? I think conflict, right? So probably that will take some time. Now it shows over here device status, it's conflict. Okay, so we will see how to remove this conflict probably tomorrow, and we will troubleshoot from a client side also, like is there anything will be available in client side event logs or not. So I'm posing for the questions if you have any, okay, on this topic.
Hi, Anu.
Hey.
If in general, when we do any group policy from the AD level, if we do any modifications in the machine registry level manually as an IT person, on a next restart or on a policy defined like 90 minutes to 4 hour default time, it will reapply automatically. In Intune case, if we modify the same registry by going manually and by IT admin and edit the registry value manually, it has to wait for 8 hours, or in a restart, it will automatically apply. How that process will happen?
So that's really a good question, right? First of all, you have seen the policy. Some of the policies are getting automatically updated within minutes, right?
Yes.
So it depends. It depends on the CSP and depends on the policy weightage Intune or Windows MDM had given to it, right? For example, some of the policies are critical, right? For example, uninstall policy and pause update policy, those are very critical, deemed as very critical. That is why it is getting applied immediately, right, without any sync. But if it's a medium kind of a setting, it is like if it's not kind of severity level is not high, then probably it is 8 hours. And there is a catch over here. You when I started Intune, right? So it was there was a case like, even if we go in and update, right, as an admin, desktop admin, desktop support team, we go to registry and update the registry entries, and Intune will never reapply it. Okay, never ever reapply it. Once done, it's done, right? So that was the case before. Now, for some of the policies, right, some of the critical policies, and I think I don't know, I have not checked all the policies, but you can see like uh, some of the policies it is getting reapplied, right? And reapply, when it will get reapplied, it is based on the severity, right? So I don't know, like, is there any documentation about the policies, like segregation, like which is the severity one policy, which is critical policy, which is non-critical policy, and when it will get applied, etc., etc., right? So probably we will check that and we will understand that in the future videos or episodes, right?
Mm. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so any other questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions, somebody is trying to speak. Sunil, are you trying to say something, or?
Uh, No. So my question is like, so is there any like precedent policy here, like disable will take over enable policy, like in group policy we have?
No,
No.
no. At
Okay.
the moment, it's not
Moment.
there.
Okay. Thanks, Anu.
No worries.
Anup, Harish here.
Yeah, Harish.
So if you go to the Windows update and there are some on the client side, if you see that there are view configured update policies, there I think it will show up, right? Suppose if you disable or pause feature update and install on the client side, if you go and see it, like we have a lot of policies, right? Even these configured policies will show up there, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
normally it should. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me see that before we finish. So these are the only policies available now, right? So earlier we used to see a lot of policies, right? I removed that feature update or Windows 10 update. That is why you can't see any of those policies which you had seen before, right? Now these are the only policies available.
Okay.
Pause is
Because
disabled
oh,
here, right?
okay.
And disabled here. These are the two policies. Okay.
The earlier ones, why we
I
can't
re-
see?
I
You
removed
did.
that assignment.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Okay. So if you go to Windows, right? Windows and Windows 10 updates, right? So there's no that thing is removed. That ring one policy which we created, right? I removed that.
Yeah, got it.
Okay, so any other questions? Otherwise, we are going to end this for today. I will see you tomorrow, same place, same time. Thank you all for joining. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.